You care about WLBB, Carrollton, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
Welcome to Community...
Oh, sorry, I had something in my throat. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Josh Engel. It's a very rainy Halloween outside. Not quite as cold as I'd like it, but hey, it's a beautiful day nonetheless. Today I'm joined by a very, very special guest. Well, Dracula wanted to come on, but this guest was too special. We had to tell him to hold off. However, my guest's company colors are orange and black, so it only felt right to bring him in on Halloween. And that guest is Bo Williford. He is the owner and operator of West Georgia HVAC and West Georgia Plumbing and Septic. Now, I got to know Bo, about a year ago?
Yeah, about a year.
Okay. I stopped in and met him. We started running some radio together. And shortly after that, I attended the ribbon cutting for his joint businesses. And Bo started telling a story about what brought him to the point he is today, to where he is today. And it was very captivating. And I told him, I think it was that day that, or at least I told some of your one of your employees that I was at some point going to get you on Community Voice to share your story.
Right.
And guess what? Here we are.
Right.
So why don't we just get right into it? Bo, tell me a little bit about your history. What brought you to this place? Because it's a crazy story.
It is. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but first and foremost, I do have a partner in both of my companies. It's my brother-in-law, Jason Eubanks. He's my brother-in-law, and we've been partners through floor covering, plumbing, just partners in life in general. So I don't get all the credit for these two companies because he's and plays a major part of it, But no, it started back when I was in jail and looking up at my bunk, and I said, Lord, I've been here so many times. I said, God, you let me out of this right here. When I get out of here, I'm going to start a company. And I'm going to start it by passing out flyers and whatnot. And my vision was to be able to take and make all my family members a part of this company and give them a better life than what we've always had. We've always struggled. I've never done the right thing up until 3 years ago. I lived a mighty, mighty crazy life with, and keep in mind everything that I am telling you is the God's honest truth, and I have many people that can back it up. But a life of drugs, the fast lane, from cocaine, meth, pot, pills, you stay up for so many days, then you got to take some things to bring you back down to earth.
Sure, and and that's another reason that we want to bring you on is the station owner, Mr. Graddick, does he takes an interest in helping combat the opioid crisis that's, essentially terrorizing our area. So, this is a great awareness,
It's an epidemic is what it is, and I'm fully aware of it. And by the grace of God, I was one of the chosen few that made it out. And the reason that I'm on here actually is to let other people know, hey, look, trust me, when you think you're at the bottom of the barrel, think again, because all you got to do is look up and put your hand out there. It's your choice and what you want out of life. And I wanted more, so and that's when God reached down and picked me up out of the pits of hell.
Sure,
which is what I was living in.
Sure. Now, why don't we go back? So, when did things start to go south?
All right. Well, actually, we could go back to when I was 13 years old. My dad was in prison, and that's when I started getting drunk. And I started smoking pot and things like that right there. And then as my teenage years, everything escalated in life. I got to the point to where I was dealing drugs, and people. Now we're all God's children, and I look back now and I'm like, good Lord, I can't believe the kind of people that I hung out with then. Well, hold on a second, that's His children too. Because I was one of them children that He reached down and said, oh, boy, no, let's get you back on track where I wanted you to be. From kicking in your doors if you didn't have my money. because I did. You know, I take your boat, I take your car, I take your motorcycles. I had a whole list full of things, you know, to the point where my own sister, my mom, and my nephews would come by to see me, and they couldn't hang out long because they were scared I was going to be busted. And that right there was an eye-opener, and seeing my little girl and my son behind glass so many times, and I just like, you know, enough is enough. So this last go-around, my wife, she told me, she said, because when we got together, I was facing DUI charges. She says, I don't think I could go through this again. Don't ever do this again, because I couldn't handle you being in jail and me being at home, blah, 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 blah. Well, shortly after that right there, within a 3-year time span, I went back to jail again. Of course, I'd done a DUI. And she had to do what she had to do for her and the kids, which is, you know, she had to get away from me because together we were like gasoline and fire, you know. Love like the Dickens, but we were just no good for each other with the alcohol involved. So she went her way, and of course I stayed in jail. That was the last time I seen her, was in jail. But when I was looking up at the holes, I was counting the holes in the bunk above me, and I said, God, I said, when I get out of here, I'm done with this. You know, I am done. And I made a plan. My vision, like I said, was to take care of my family first and foremost. You know, the love of my life is already gone, so I'm going to do this for them. And I did. And I got out, and I started passing out flyers. I think it was like, I told my brother-in-law, I said, look, man, I need that truck that you're hauling trash with. He said, for what? You ain't even got license. I said, have I ever done anything legal from the get-go? He started laughing. He says, well, do what you do. He goes, you know, I got you back. I said, all right, you know, if you get caught, call me. I'll come get you. So we've always had that relationship. He's been like my big brother, you know. But so anyway, I took that truck and illegally was driving, and I would go to Walmart. I scraped up enough change and to start passing out flowers. But let me take a few steps back. When I first got back out of jail, I was at my son's house, and I said, now my daughter and my son-in-law were wearing these two hats, Georgia boy and Georgia girl, with just a little emblem of Georgia on it. And I looked and I said, man, I said, son, I'm starting up a company. He said, you are? You know, I said, yeah. And, you know, I know everybody looked at me and thought my daddy is so crazy. He just, you know, I ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm fixing to do this. So anyhow, I said, son, I said, go get your computer, because I don't know nothing about computers. I can barely, you know, use them new phones they call smartphones these days. Yeah, I need one of them flip phones is what I need. But anyhow, he got his computer out and started designing something. I said, I want that emblem right there. I said, it's going to be West Georgia Plumbing and Septic. And I said, I want it rounded off. This is the kind of letters I want. I said, what about a pipe wrench? I said, put a pipe wrench in the middle of that. He said, no, I'll do it this way, Daddy. So basically, me and the kids designed the logo of what you see right now. And so I started passing out flyers, and my dad would help me. My mom would help me. In the middle of summer, I mean, you know, just crying, talking to God, Lord, you know, if I do get a job, I ain't got the money to buy no material to go do it with. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at. But he said, don't worry about it. You just keep doing what you're doing. Do what you said you was going to do, because I wrote it down and what I was going to do. So I did. And I can't tell you that, you know, the time me and my dad, he helped me one day, and we tore off 2 sets of windshield wipers, because we was putting them on the windshield wipers. And we're just standing there holding windshield wipers. I looked at him, he looked at me, and there ain't no sense in running, because our name's plastered everywhere at that point. So we had to figure it out, and we ended up putting them back together. But we had some good times, and that's how this company got started, was doing that. And little by little, God would, you know, send me a job at trickle in. And I started doing advertisement. I designed the web page, our website, and I ain't never done that before in my life. But God just he put things in front of me, and the right doors to walk through, and he shut the ones that I didn't need to go through at the right time, you know, in this whole scenario of things.
Sure, it's like, I mean, you went from kicking in people's doors, you know, graduated up into leaving that life behind, driving around illegally in the truck, trying to start the business, and now then you start getting these jobs. Well, we're actually going to come back and continue the story more, and actually have a special treat for listeners. Some of your original music that you've played, that you've written, inspired by your life, right after a word from our sponsors.
Oak Mountain Academy has offered a challenging college preparatory education for over 50 years. With over 500 graduates, we have maintained a 100% college acceptance rate. Over 90% of our students earn acceptance to their first choice of college or university, and over the past 5 years, our students have earned over $10 million in scholarship offers. Our students are creating a legacy. Come, be a part of our family and create your own legacy today. To learn more, visit us at oakmountain.us.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org. or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And welcome back to Community Voice. This is your host, Josh Engel. I'm joined this Halloween morning, with Bo Williford, the owner and operator of West Georgia HVAC and West Georgia Plumbing and Septic, with his partner, Jason Eubanks, yeah. Excellent. So we've been talking about, the changes that God has brought into his life. Essentially going from a life of addiction and crime into being a successful businessman. So why don't we step back a little bit? So you mentioned when you were in jail and you were looking up at the ceiling, and you made a pact with God that if you were able to get out of this, you're going to start a new life. So you mentioned this worship center you went to afterwards.
Absolutely. It was West Georgia. Actually, it was 2 weeks prior to me turning myself in. I went there, and I just the praise and worship was unbelievable. And I'm sitting there with tears just streaming down my face. The pastor, Ricky Shirley, is an amazing pastor. He's like my best friend. He's my go-to. And he just grabs you and cuddles you, you know what I'm saying? And there was a gentleman in the choir that come down there to me, and he come walking up to me, and I'm sitting there just bawling, listening to praise and worship, and he grabs me by my face, and I don't know this guy. Normally, if you come reaching for me, I'm gonna knock you out. But this guy right here, I was too weak. I was just broken, just completely broken inside. And he come to me and he said, "I don't know who you are, or what you're going through, or where you been." He said, "But God told me to tell you that he's going to restore each and everything you ever lost, and then some." He said, "But if you ever turn around and go back to the life you were living," he said, "it's going to end up bad for you." And so I took that, I was just, pretty much as a grain of salt, and I'm there, and I'm still heartbroken. So that day I just, I walked to the altar, and I just basically collapsed and cried, and I told God, I said, "Listen," I said, "Lord," I said, "if you're going to take this alcohol addiction away from me, you're going to have to be the one to do it. I can't do it because I like it too much." So the service was over. Another gentleman named Reggie Shepard gave me a Bible, and he said, "Here, son," and I didn't know him. He said, "You're going to need this," which turns out to be one of my best friends now. He said, "You're going to need this." So I took it with me and whatnot, and then we left, and my sister was like, I told her, I said, "Stop by the store." She said, "For what?" I said, "I want to get a 6-pack of beer." She said, "What?" And I said, "I want a 6-pack of beer." She said, "All right." So we just left church. I told God, it's on no circumstances, "Hey, look, you want to take this from me, you take it, because I can't do it. I'm too weak." I drank that beer that night. I woke up the next morning, and it was like a ton of bricks that had been lifted, and my life just completely turned around. I went and I done my jail time. From jail time to having to drive around with a breathalyzer, to once I finally got legit, I got a breathalyzer, and then God blessed me with a truck, and then He blessed us with because we were working out of a double wide trailer on a hill with just a dirt hill, as an office in a little room, and He moved us to Bremen, and then later on, about 8 months later, where you come over here, He blessed us with a 10,000 square foot building, and now we got 2 pump trucks, about 8-9 service vehicles. We've opened up the HVAC side of the company. God is just all my heart's desires He's put into place. And there was a piece of the puzzle missing because I was alone. You know what I'm saying? God don't want you to be alone. So He actually, over cross-talking, me and my ex-wife cross-talked over my daughter's post on Facebook, of course, and it just so happens that she's been quit drinking and smoking and everything and turned her life over to God. And how amazing it is, we just got remarried July the 8th of this year, and she's actually here in the studio with me now.
Yeah, shout out to Beth, hanging out with us.
Yeah, that's my baby. But yeah, that's I know that there's got to be somebody out there that's in as bad a shape as I was in, and even worse probably, that may need to hear this. That just when you think that you can't go any further, look up. You know what I'm saying? Look up and go to God. Find you a church somewhere. Find somebody to talk to that'll listen to you and understand that I was the worst of the worst. Understand? To me, there's no worse than a dope dealer out there that's infecting people's children and this, that, and another. But see, that's not who I was, or that was who I was. That's not who I am. That's not who God made me to be. Because I can promise you that I am a highly favored child of God to be in the position that I'm in right now, and Him giving me another chance of life to be somebody for and in front of my kids, and to leave my legacy behind for my children to run, is if I left here tomorrow, I could leave a happy man because I left something behind other than just the bad and the ugly of a life that I used to live. And
that's quite a legacy, going from a 8x8 jail cell to a 10,000 square foot facility. Well, I wanted to get into some of your original music. You, like a lot of folks that have went through a very difficult life and have made bad choices but have come around, you have taken your stories and you've put them into song. So if you'd be willing, we'd love it if you'd play some songs for us today.
Oh, absolutely. There's one in particular that I didn't write. My father did. And right now, unfortunately, he's in stage 4 cancer. And we're expecting pretty much any day now for him to pass. But, I can't wait. I know that sounds crazy, but I can't wait for him to be with God because he deserves it from the crazy life he used to live and how he raised me and everything. I hope that, I was able to make him proud and that he was able to see me do something with my life other than what I was doing. And I just want to honor him with this song that he wrote, and if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's hear it. And what's the song called?
Farewell Party.
Excellent.
When the last breath of life is gone from my body and my lips are as cold as the sea, don't weep for me down here at my farewell party, 'cause I'll be with Jesus forevermore. And there'll be angels up there who'll shout when I get there, and they'll walk me down the streets paved with gold. So don't weep for me down here at my farewell party, 'cause I'll be with Jesus He's waiting for you. He's waiting to receive you and wash away all of your sins. And there'll be angels up there who'll shout when you get there, and they'll walk you down the streets paved with gold. So don't weep for him down here at his farewell party, 'cause he'll be with Jesus forevermore. Yes, 'cause he'll be with Jesus forevermore.
We'll be right back with Bo Williford right after a word from our sponsors.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org. or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
A well-rounded education includes much more than just academics. At Oak Mountain Academy, we encourage our students to find their niche in any of our 42 co-curricular opportunities. Over the past 5 years, we have brought home 5 state and 20 regional athletic titles. Our one-act play and literary teams continuously compete at the region and state level, and our academic teams bring home first place more than not. We are warriors creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
And welcome back to Community Voice. I'm your host, Josh Engel, joined today with Bo Williford, owner and operator of West Georgia HVAC and West Georgia Plumbing and Septic, with his partner, Jason Eubanks. He's had a tough life. He went from struggling with addiction and repeat offender, ended up in jail, now to singing some incredible music here and giving his testimony on WLBB News Talk 1330 AM and FM 106.3. So we have about 6 minutes left. The song you just played was spectacular. I would love to hear perhaps another song, whichever one you'd like to play.
All right. This one right here, the main reason that I agreed to do this right here is for that, people that are going through storms, people that are going through things in life that need to know that, man, it's not the end of the road, you know what I'm saying, just because of the storm that you're going through. And you just got to remember, you got to think about tomorrow and what tomorrow brings. If you wake up in the morning, praise God, you know what I'm saying, we're here for another day. But this one right here has it's really been on my heart a whole lot. It's called Windows of My Soul. And this one I did not write. The other one that I wrote is more of a fast, upbeat song, but that's not what God wanted me to do today for some reason.
Of course.
Kept by prisoner by myself, the battle's raging deep within, searching everywhere to find sweet peace and comfort for the mind. But whenever everything has failed to calm the tempest in that road. Jehovah God did prevail and brought deliverance to my soul. The storms are raging all around. I know I stand on solid ground. He's been rejected and abused. That cornerstone had not been moved. We've got a right to rejoice, for we know him as our Lord. Right now he's walking to and fro through the windows of my soul. Through these windows you shall see the reassurance of my needs. And if you look closer, you will find sweet peace and comfort for the mind. See, I'm bound for heaven and not hell. Amazing grace has prevailed. Right now he's walking to and fro through the windows of my soul. The storms are raging all around. Don't you know I stand on solid ground? He's been rejected, he's been abused. Well, that cornerstone had not been moved. We've got a right to rejoice, for we know him as our Lord. Right now he's walking to and fro through the windows of my soul. Yes, right now he's walking to and fro through the windows of my soul.
I have a feeling that you reached some people today. Bo, thank you for
I
coming
hope
on the
so.
show today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, brother.